Still alive? Good. I'm Diego. I'm not. No one in here cares about your name, lad.
Hi everyone, I welcome you to Shoot Tasty Base channel. In this video I will present to you Gothic 1 Remake, specifically the demo version of the Nyras Prologue, which I had the unique opportunity to explore and test, ahead of its official premiere, planned for the upcoming 2025 Steam Fest event. If by some miracle you still haven't heard the news, let me briefly explain. We are getting closer to the highly anticipated release of the Gothic remake from THQ. The game faithfully recreates the fascinating world and immersive mechanics of the OG Gothic, originally created by the not existing German studio Piranha Bytes. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to the amazing community and THQ for making it possible for me to be part of this journey. It means a lot to me as an OG fan, so yeah, thank you all for making it happen, and let's get started. The view in the game is simply amazing, and it's clear that the developers paid close attention to detail in creating a world that's visually captivating. I have spent a lot of time just admiring the surroundings, the forest, mountains and distant landscapes of the colony, which really helped me immerse myself in the game. I love the exploration aspect of this demo. It's not that long, approximately 1 hour of gameplay, but somehow I still managed to spend almost 2 hours on it. It kept motivating me at every turn to go deeper and take a peek under each stone on my way. Isn't that amazing? That's exactly the feeling I had when playing the OG version for the first time. They really put effort into visualizing the popular exchange zone in a way that stays loyal to the original, with plenty of details and references, which is fantastic. I honestly don't get how people compare the flat landscapes of Valve Obsidian Entertainment's recent release to the epic scale of Skyrim, claiming it's just as good. Do people miss Skyrim that much? Because let me tell you, this is the first time I have felt such Skyrim-like positive energy from any game when it comes to landscapes and views. The exchange zone offers a perfect vantage point to take in the full picture of the colony, and when I first saw it running on high settings, damn, it was breathtaking. Huge shout out to the art designers because it looks absolutely fantastic. The archery mechanics have also been a standout for me. I have always had high expectation for archery in games, and when I shot a few arrows I was genuinely impressed. The feeling of crouching and taking down enemies with precision was fantastic. It was so satisfying. Of course, it wasn't that effective, but that's how it should be if we want to stay faithful to the OG game, because that's the point. We are nobodies at the start, we can't even hold a simple stick properly. To improve we need time, experience, levels and a teacher. And I love that the demo reflected this a little. Our hero was literally slow and clumsy with both melee and archery due to missing training. The Kirko side quest was a great example of this. It perfectly shows how melee combat starts off feeling clumsy, but once Kirko teaches us a bit and shows how to handle a sword, we unlock better animations and a new set of moves due to level 2 that the devs give us for one-handed swords. This alone improves the set of moves and overall feeling, which is exactly what I wanted to see in Gothic Remake to some extent. As for the melee combat system, the puncturing stab animation is really cool looking, kinda meme-worthy for me actually. It reminded me of World After the Fall webtoon. Speaking of Kirko, I feel like NPC AI has been improved a lot. It's more engaging, unlike some of the monsters I encountered whose AI didn't feel very dynamic or aggressive enough for me. The game really makes us struggle when interacting with other NPCs, and I love that. You are treated like an absolute nobody, literally a loser. And the game doesn't waste time explaining why. If you don't get it, well, you will lose your life, or in the best case scenario, your ore nuggets and your weapon.
Where can I sleep?
Ground won't do.
I only have a few.
Piss off!
Because that's just how it is. We are in a colony full of convicts. It's amazing to ask simple, even dumb questions only to have an NPC tell you to go away in a colony way. This is exactly the kind of attitude I want to see in the colony, and I'm really glad it didn't turn out like EA's released Dragon's Age Whaleguard, where you get painfully long nonsense dialogue sequences, probably AI generated, to crappy and just not engaging enough. The kind where you just start dreaming about a skip button, like that infamous coffee conversation. Coffee, all kinds of coffee tastes and more coffee. Is that a joke, EA? Maybe try to learn from THQ, they can listen to the community. Another thing I absolutely loved was how they created and animated the scavengers. These guys feel so epic, they actually remind me of velociraptors from Jurassic Park at times, and honestly, that's a good thing. I expected them to feel like small apex predators, and they do. Their presence adds some wild energy to the world, and the way they scavenge and hunt in the background adds another layer of depth, making the environment feel alive. I'm not 100% sure if this is just Unreal Engine fine advantage, but the water graphics and animations in this game look insanely good. You cannot imagine how magical and immersive it felt to explore that deep as hell small waterfall near the old camp exchange zone encampment. When I jumped into the water and saw how the physics made me sink and resurface with a nice splash effect, I literally smiled to myself. Yep, I like swimming and water sports, not just in video games. I really hope there are more hidden locations like this, with some loot to reward exploration. This kind of attention to detail makes me want to explore everything like an addict, and that's exactly what I consider a key ingredient for a great adventure in this game series. Oh, and yeah, I almost drowned in that waterfall. Close one. While the overall experience was enjoyable and it seems like the developers are heading in the right direction, there are a few aspects that still feel off and should be addressed before the official release. To make it clear, I didn't see the demo during last year when they showed it for the first time somewhere in summer, so I do not know how much changed regarding this version I play right now. Back to the things I think they should address for official release. The movement of the main character felt a bit awkward to me, and I'm not even talking about combat now, just basic movement and running. It still needs some polishing in my opinion. Sprinting is nice, we want this in the Gothic world, we need this, but for some reason the animation reminds me of movement in Final Fantasy games. The moment the character starts rushing just feels oddly familiar. Maybe it's not a bad thing, but it is what it is. That's just the vibe I got. When it comes to the movement, I also noticed that dialogues feel weirdly out of sync with the characters' lip movements.
One end washes the other.
Whenever they speak, it seems to lose track a little bit, which breaks the immersion for me. But of course, this is just a demo, so nothing to worry about. I'm sure it will be polished. Also, I didn't feel a huge urge to install a mod for quick looting. But there were moments when I wished the game would allow the looting animation to play while the interface remains responsive. Right now we have to wait for our character to kneel and search the object before we can even access the interface and drag items into our inventory. I get that some people will appreciate the added immersion, but for me this could use a quality of life improvement. There were some other issues that I managed to resolve on my end by updating drivers and so on, but I think it's still worth mentioning that on high settings I occasionally noticed artifacts in textures and animations. I know optimization is usually done in the final phase of development, and after researching Unreal Engine 5, I can see that we need solid hardware to fully enjoy higher settings, so yeah, it's just a formality. I'm sure they will make it much better by release. It's demo after all. The AI of monsters could be more aggressive, more dynamic, giving us less time to react. They should feel lethal and dangerous. This would also require some minor adjustments to the animations speeds of both monsters and characters. I had a situation where more lads were watching me way too long in order to attack, and sorry for pointing this out. In the end they delivered us the real and true experience from OG, where more lads were behaving in a similar way sometimes, probably because of the bugs. I really don't want to see a shadow beast slowly circling around just waiting for me to approach. I want it to track my scent, sure, but once it gets close, I expect it to strike like a thunderbolt and tear me apart immediately if I ignore it for too long. Moving forward, I hope the game keeps refining itself in the same direction before the official release. I really enjoyed the demo a lot and my hopes are huge for this production. It's clear that there is a huge potential, not just for a faithful OG Gothic remake, which I'm already very satisfied with and can freely recommend, but also in terms of sales success. I truly believe this game will sell a lot of copies and THQ will shine with this series. It already feels like Gothic, but at the same time it has the kind of quality and polish that gives it a real shot in the worldwide gaming industry. The difference between the first iteration of the demo 2 years ago and this one is huge. I love how much they have improved it, and I have to say it was an absolute pleasure to play the Gothic remake demo. I can't even imagine how good the official release will be. I'm already preparing myself for it by talking with some of the glorious PC Master Race community, because let's be honest, I need to play this on epic max settings. The game offers a satisfying experience that really resonates with me. The atmosphere, combat and attention to detail create a world that feels rich and alive, worthy of being compared to Skyrim, thanks to its beautiful landscapes. Sure, there is still room for improvement, especially in movement fluidity and combat mechanics, but overall I had a great time. I'm excited to see how the devs will enhance it even further, especially in the key mechanics I'm most looking forward to. I highly recommend you guys give it a chance during Steam Fest, and thanks for watching and happy leveling, adventurers.
You again.